Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in, and peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening. Now we are going to get into For Men Only. We're in chapter number 1, Rethinking Random. Why you need a new map of the female universe. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like some guys, I know, you might be tempted to skip this introduction and jump right to the sex chapter. And if you're chuckling right now, it probably means you already did it or were about to. It's not a bad choice, actually, just a little self-defeating. If you've been in a committed relationship with a woman for more than, say, a day, you know that going just for what you want isn't actually going to get you what you want for very long. A week, maybe. But let's be honest. One of the main reasons you're looking at this book is that you are trying to get something you want, not sex. Well, not just sex, but a more fulfilling, harmonious relationship with your wife. One that isn't quite so hard or confusing. And the back cover gave you the wild idea that understanding her might actually be possible. Either that, or for some reason the woman in question just handed you this book. Well, either way, take a look at the revelations we've uncovered. We think you'll be convinced. Each chapter explains things about the woman you love that may have often left you feeling helpless, confused, or just plain angry. Each chapter points out simple, doable solutions. The only genius required is that you make a decision up front that you're willing to think differently. This is a short book, but if you read it cover to cover, you'll walk away with your eyes open to things you may have never before understood about your wife or girlfriend or woman friend. Anyway, each chapter points out simple, doable solutions. That's what happened with me, Jeff. And I'm just your average semi-confused guy. Actually, sometimes totally confused is more accurate. And since us average semi-confused guys have to stick together, that's why even though Shanti and I are both authoring this book, I'll be the one doing most of the talking. First, some background. In 2004, Shanti published for Women Only, What You Need to Know About the Inner Lives of Men, which quickly became a bestseller. Based on a national representative survey, scores of focus groups and other research, it opened women's eyes to things that most of us guys had always wished our wives knew. Things like most of us need to feel respected, even more than loved. Or besides just getting enough sex, men also have a huge need to feel sexually desired by our wives. I'm not sure exactly why, but women everywhere were shocked. To me, those revelations seemed obvious. But by the flood of letters from around the country from both women and their grateful husbands, we've seen how much good can come when the opposite sex finally has their eyes open to things they simply didn't understand before. I'm not sure exactly why, but women everywhere were shocked by how men thought. In this book, the shock is on the other foot. Now it's been Shanti's turn to say over and over, I can't believe you didn't already know that. When Shanti Publisher first approached us about doing a companion for women only to help men understand women, I had two major concerns. First, I didn't think guys would read a relationship book, since for most of us, the last relationship book we read was in the premarital counseling, and then only because we were forced to. But more to the point, I doubted that a woman could ever be understood compared to other complex matters like the tides say, or how to figure a baseball player's ERA. Women seemed unknowable, random even. I explained my skepticism to one early focus group of women. Jeff. Guys tend to think that women are random. We think I pulled this lever last week and got a certain reaction. But when I pulled that same lever this week, I got a totally different reaction. That's random. Women in the group. But we aren't random. If you pull the lever and get a different reaction, either you pulled a different lever or you're pulling it in a different way. Shanti. What men need is a sort of map to their wives, because we can be mapped. We can be known and understood terrain. Jeff. See, guys think of a woman as a swamp. You can't see where you're stepping, and sooner or later you just know you're going to get stuck in quicksand. And the more you struggle to get free, the deeper you get sucked in. So every guy on the planet knows that the best thing to do is just shut down and hope somebody comes along to rescue you. When I came to Shanti and the other women in the focus group assured me, and I have since seen for myself, that guys don't have to live in a swamp. That realization led us to the eventual subtitle of this book, A Straightforward Guide to the Inner Lives of Women. Guys think of a woman as a swamp. You can't see where you're stepping, and sooner or later you just know you're going to get stuck in quicksand. The 7 relations. The most important key to deswamping the woman in your life is to realize that some of your basic assumptions about her may be either too simplistic or flat wrong. By simplistic, I mean that we tend to operate with a partial or surface understanding of our wife or girlfriend. And to make matters worse, most guys have no idea how to make their limited understanding work in actual practice. For example, most guys have heard that women want security. Okay, but what does that mean exactly? A regular paycheck? A big house? A growing retirement fund? It's a huge shocker to talk to hundreds of women and find that while financial security is nice, it isn't nearly as important to them as feeling emotionally secure. Feeling close and confident, and you'll be there for her no matter what. And believe it or not, ensuring emotional security turns out to be a lot easier than ensuring the Let me just repeat that all over. And believe it or not, ensuring emotional security turns out to be a lot easier than ensuring the financial security you are probably busting your tail to provide. For Men Only will help you move from surface understanding to the all-important recognition of what those things mean in everyday life with your woman. Once you started testing out these findings, I think you'll be amazed at the differences it makes for both of you. For Men Only will help you move from surface understanding to recognizing that those things mean in everyday life. The book is organized around 6 major findings outlined on the next page. Some of these will be surprises to you. Some won't, at least to begin with. But that's the thing about swamps. What you see is rarely what is really there. And our surface understanding is on one section, and what it means in practice, it's like that. Can you see it? Okay, you guys can see it. So I'm going to read one side and then the other side. Our surface understanding comes first, then what it means in practice. Women need to feel loved. The practice. Even if your relationship is great, your mate likely has a fundamental insecurity about your love. And when that insecurity is triggered, she may respond in ways that confuse or dismay you until she feels reassured. Women are emotional. Women deal with multiple thoughts and emotions from their past and present all the time, at the same time. And these can't be easily dismissed. Women want security, in other words, financial security. Your woman needs emotional security and closeness with you so much that she will endure financial insecurity to get it. She doesn't want you to fix it. She just wants you to listen. When she is sharing an emotional problem, her feelings and her desire to be heard are much more important than the problem itself. She doesn't want much sex. She must not want me. Physically, women tend to crave sex less often than men do. And it is usually not related to your desirability. She wants to look attractive. Inside, you're smart. Secure wife lives a little girl who deeply needs to know that you find her beautiful and that you only have eyes for her. How we found out our methodology. I don't know, I'm going to spell it for you. I tried it a couple times, but it's spelled like this. methodology. Reading on. For nearly a year, Shanti and I worked to identify intermap terrain areas that are common to most women, but the most guys tend not to understand. Besides conducting hundreds of in-person interviews, we gathered huge amounts of anecdotal information at dozens of women events where Shanti was presenting materials for women only. I spoke with stay-at-home moms, business owners, and secretaries on airplanes, in focus groups, and over Shanti's book table as she was mobbed after women's conferences. And I sifted through hundreds of emails and forum postings from Shanti's forwomenonly.com website. In all these venues, I was really just an embedded male, like the reporters who rode with armored cavalry divisions. At the opening of the Iraqi war, I kept my helmet on, my head down, and my notebook handy. It was an embedded male. I kept my helmet on, my head down, and my notebook handy. This does complete take 1 of chapter 1. Stay tuned for take 2 of chapter 1. And with that one, we will complete chapter 1. Okay? So I want you and your family to be blessed. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Till I talk with you again, be it thy will. Peace be unto you. Later, y'all.